Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our daily get-together live here on Facebook every day at 10:30, where we examine headlines, comments, suggestions, questions, topics, ideas, tips on how to best enjoy our lives here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals and get the best appreciation we can get about Mexico, our country, our politics, our culture, our way of life. Anything that can help us. And yes, there is Luna back at the Luna Cam. As you know, we don't ever make her jump on her little station by force. Some days she comes and joins us, and some days she doesn't come and join us. But she's here, right, baby? Hey, are you happy to be here? Oh, yes, you are. Anyhow, this is what we do every day of the week. If this is the first time that you are joining us, you can let us know that you're new by writing the word new in your comments, and that way we can give you a proper welcome. If you choose to remain with the silent majority, that's perfectly fine too. What's most important here is that you get something wonderful and positive and constructive and inspiring out of the broadcast. As always, we have a little bit of a mixed match of mishmash. We have a variety of chingaderas to share. That's what we have. Some vaccine-related information, some dignified death information. Euthanasia is an interesting topic, and I have some news about that as far as Mexican legislation. And of course, if you're a space head like myself, you'll be glued to your television screen or your YouTube screen today at 1 o'clock because the Mars Rover is landing, and that should be very exciting for anyone that cares about those things. I happen to think it's fascinating that people go to, well, not people, but, we send space probes to other planets. Isn't that crazy? Anyhow, this is a little bit of what we have for today, and we might as well get started with the news. Okay, so I know that seniors in town are getting edgy, and I would be too, about getting the senior vaccine here in Puerto Vallarta, the one that you probably already signed up for. And yes, we did announce, because it was published as such, that Puerto Vallarta would be receiving the initial doses for seniors this week. But it turns out that the COVID-19 vaccines for seniors that were destined for Puerto Vallarta and Mascota were sent to other more marginalized municipalities in the region. Instead of coming to Puerto Vallarta, the vaccines were sent to El Tuito, San Sebastián del Oeste, Talpa de Allende, and Tomatlán. As of now, unfortunately, there is no confirmed date as to when the first vaccine doses for seniors will arrive in our city. But in other news, it is good to know that a shipment of 27,300 Pfizer vaccines arrived yesterday, and of those, 24,375 will be distributed in Jalisco's health sector for the medical and personnel to receive their second dose and thus conclude their vaccination. This will take care of approximately 85% of all medical personnel in the state, and the remaining doctors and nurses in our state will receive their vaccines between February and April. Let me take a quick break just to see if we have any important initial comments. I didn't even say hello to anybody today. That's a horrible thing. I might as well do that now because Claude is in the house and Dave is in the house. I forgot to say my good mornings. This is horrible. Craig is in the house. And let's see what else is going on. Ricky is literally in the house because it's snowing outside. I forget where you are. Oh, New Jersey. In New Jersey. Wow, New Jersey. Yes, snow up north, of course. Doug is in Plaza Dorada. And look at this, Luna. You have all these fans. Girl, people love to see you. Oh, Logan found some money. I want some pizza. Let's see. Let's see. Sherry, I am so happy to learn that you enjoyed yesterday's tour because I think of all the walking tours I've done, yesterday was the one that seemed the most mundane to me because, it was exciting to see the skating ring and it was kind of exciting to see the little restaurants, but it wasn't, for me, it didn't feel like a walking tour that had a lot of bang. Um, but it is good that you enjoyed it. I appreciate it. And Matthew, I like that. He's sending a not a shout out, but a meow out to Luna. That's beautiful. Um, and Tony says it's good that you got all your computer stuff back online. Yes, I mean my computer still. If I turn my computer off, I fear that it won't turn on again. But a replacement battery has been ordered, and it should arrive in a few days, and that way, hopefully, the computer will be good for a little while longer. Let's see what else we have. Oh my God, you really liked yesterday's walk. That makes my day because, again, I thought it was kind of like, oh, good Lord. Let's see what else. What else? What else? Chingadera is heavenly, Mushi. Chingadera is, it's just such a delicious word. When used in the proper place and in the proper way. I mean, if you one can really insult someone by using the word. I mean, if you, there's a big difference between saying someone that mira todas las chingaderas que vendes, as in, look at all the goodies that you're selling, and saying the same phrase, mira todas las chingaderas que vendes, and saying it in an angry way, insulting way, it could be very harmful. But as long as we are oh my God, as long as we're using it properly, it's a good thing. Jill, I have always wanted to visit Cuastecomates. Are you staying at the hotel or are you staying at a little house? Please bring back some intel so that we can learn more about Cuastecomates. Cuastecomates is a bay. It's a tiny, tiny little bay that I found by chance on a Google Earth map. I was just looking at the coast, just looking at its characteristics, and all of a sudden, south of Puerto Vallarta, I think it's about 3 hours south, there's this cute little itty bitty bay. And I zoomed in on it, and it looks darling. And I figured, okay, this is called Cuastecomates. What is there? And there's a little hotel, and there are some houses. It's nothing big, but when I saw photos of that bay, I thought it was absolutely dreamy. So I know nothing about Cuastecomates other than the fact that I want to visit it someday. Question: do you know if there are washrooms at beach area near the ice rink? I would imagine that the restaurant has one. I obviously think that the ice skating rink must have washrooms as well, but I didn't particularly go looking for them. Um, no, Stephanie, I just had a senior moment, and you did not miss the good mornings. I missed the good mornings. Let's see. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. What is this large military caravan on its way to Vallarta? Just went through Mezcales. Judy, I have no idea, but I hope they're here to do good things. Why not? Um, is the ice surface frozen water or plastic? Gather the latter is an option now. If you mean our skating rink, it was ice. It was icy and it was cool in there. It was not quite cold, but it was cool. It was good. Let's see what else. Da, 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 yeah. An ice rink in the tropics is mundane, asks Michael. Well, that's when your likes and dislikes are so fascinating and so helpful for me to better appreciate what you're interested in. So there you have it. Roger confirms that there are bathrooms at Gavi's Beach Bar by the skating rink. Thank you very much for that. And and let's see. Matthew says that I imagine you're referring to Cuastecomates, Matthew. That it is 100% handicap friendly. Again, I've never been. All I know is I saw it on a map and it looks pretty, and I want to go someday. So there you have it. Okay, so there you go. We've started with the news. We've started with um, our headlines. So let us continue with our headlines now that we are on track. And I started talking earlier about dignified death and euthanasia. And I know that this is a complicated topic with medical proportions and ethical proportions and all kinds of points of discussion that are absolutely fascinating. And here in Mexico, it so happens, and I just learned this a couple of days ago, that the Mexican Commission of Constitutional Political Points and Citizen Initiatives in Mexico City, yes, there is such a thing, approved an opinion that considers a dignified death as a right. The initiative hopes to amend a paragraph in Article 4 of Mexico's Constitution to promote not only a dignified life, but also a dignified death, and thus creating a path to legislate euthanasia in Mexico eventually. I am sure that this is a topic that will bring up a lot of debates in the population and a lot of debates in lawmakers, very much in the same way as the legalization of cannabis has been. And we will have to see exactly how this changes the law as we move forward. And it's funny because as I was reading this bit of news this morning, I kept thinking to myself, well, this is one of those instances in which I wish that this environment that we share, Coffee and Headlines, was more conducive to real back and forth debate and dialogue and so forth and so on, because I'd love to hear everybody's take on euthanasia. I'm sure that we've all had, or many of us have had, parents, loved ones, friends go through very, very difficult deaths. So I do believe this is an important thing to talk about at some point. Mihal contributes that Canada legislated assisted dying, and yes, it's an important thing for the critically ill and for others. I am sure that a lot of people approve of it. A lot of people may not, but we'll keep an eye on this and other interesting developments. But first, let us take a quick look at the weather. Today is a perfect day to get hopelessly addicted to casino slot machines, according to our snarky weatherman. I don't see why. Who would want to be indoors at a casino slot machine when it is 22 degrees outside and it feels like 24 and it's beautiful and humidity is at 73%, but who cares? That would be kind of like the equivalent of 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Do you guys still do Fahrenheit? I suppose the folks, our dear viewers in the United States, still do Fahrenheit. But for the rest of us, Celsius it is. The forecast for today is it's going to be clear through the day with a high temperature of 25, low temperature 15. Tomorrow, Friday, same thing, clear through the day, high temperature 27, low temperature 18. And Saturday, clear through the day, high temperature 28, low temperature 17. Not bad at all for a nice winter weekend here in Puerto Vallarta. We know, of course, that up north of the border in Texas, things are not looking very good. I have family in Texas. We have friends in Texas. And of course, we are sending all good vibes and well wishes to anybody that is elsewhere where the weather is not as darling as it could be. Now, moving back to some headlines. This first one is for all, if any, all the space heads in the room. If you are a space head, please let me know so that I know that I'm not the only one that is getting totally excited over the fact that the Mars rover is landing today. So I'm sure that if you're a space head like myself, you'll be glued to the YouTube today at 1 p.m. to watch NASA's Perseverance rover land on Mars. Of course, we have this wonderful Vox article where we can learn in their usual explainer style why this particular landing is so nerve wracking. Why is it so? Well, it's easy to appreciate. For starters, it takes 7 minutes for communications to reach Mars. And this means that the landing has to be performed without human intervention. And it, of course, will take the nice folks at NASA 7 minutes to confirm in real time whether the landing has been successful or not. And I see, and yes, Joe, this is local time, and I will send the link. I will share the link for you to take a look at. And I see that there are other space heads. I love it. I love these NASA missions. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved them. So I have both this article for you to look at and also the actual YouTube link in case you guys want to be watching this. I have a bit of good news also for those that are have hearing issues or are hard of hearing. Mexico's Chamber of Deputies has approved that all movies screened in Mexico have to be subtitled in Spanish. What? Yes, that means that even Spanish language movies have to be subtitled in Spanish, and this is so that everybody can enjoy the films, even people that are hard of hearing. And the beautiful thing about this is that, of course, when movies are come from a foreign country, they are always subtitled to Spanish. So to see that Spanish language movies will also be subtitled makes me feel happy for those people that have a problem hearing or have any kind of condition that prevents them to take in the sound of the film. Needless to say, I wish some Spanish-speaking films were also subtitled to English, English being such a popular language here in Mexico, because, of course, there are wonderful films produced in our country, and it is. Sometimes I wish that you would appreciate some Spanish-speaking films as much as I do. One case in point was that wonderful film of the famous or infamous 41 men that were raided in a party at the beginning of the 19th century in Mexico City, and there was the first homosexual scandal to take place in Mexico. And this, of course, predates Stonewall. And the movie came out. I saw it here at the movie theater. It was just fascinating, but it did not have English subtitles. I keep hoping that it will be subtitled in English when it is released as a Blu-ray or when it is released on-demand channels, because I am sure you would enjoy learning more about this curious episode of Mexican history. What else do we have? Oh, we have this. This is so timely because yesterday we went walking into Puerto Vallarta's first ice skating rink, and then I come across this headline from Vox again that talks about how figure skating is on thin ice and how to fix it. Apparently, there has been all kinds of changes in the sport that was so popular during the 1990s, and how it desperately needs a makeover of one kind or another, and not just at a competitive level, but also when it comes to people enjoying the ice skating rinks just for pleasure. So I think that'll be absolutely interesting to read, particularly having just spoken about this just yesterday. And of course, the last bit of headline that I have to share with you has to do with Emma Stone, who is going to be the new villain in Cruella, a real-life adaptation of the world of Cruella de Vil, who we know from the 101 Dalmatians movie. if you had some kind of childhood, you came across this movie at some point in your life. I, of course, know about this movie because I watched it as a kid here in Mexico. And of course, we watched it in Spanish. So we would go, Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil, espanta a los niños, no es nada gentil, and so forth and so on. But I've seen it in English too, and it's a lot of fun as well. So you should watch this or consider watching this trailer because it was a lot of fun. And it's interesting to see how all these makeovers turn out. I just read that Tim Burton is putting together a show. I forget if it's a show or a movie or a miniseries for Netflix, in which he will take on Wednesday Addams as his lead character. This is the little daughter from the Addams family, and I think that is going to be absolutely fun to watch. You know how now directors take specific characters from one film or a television series and decide to branch out with them. Give me 1 second. Ah, that was good. Let me take a quick look at your comments. Do 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 do. And I have a question for you. Bim bam 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 bam. Let's see. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you very much, Jill. Yes, I would love to learn more about Cuastecomates. It would be fascinating to learn more about this place. You are like the first person that I know that has actually been there. So I got all excited. Let's see what else we have. Texas is a horror indeed, Michael. My thoughts and prayers for everybody or anybody that is there. Needless to say, Texas has canceled all kinds of distribution of natural gas to other parts of the United States and Mexico. So Mexico has had to take additional unexpected measures to be able to acquire the necessary natural gas to produce electricity here in our country. Let's see what else we have. Bum, ba-dim, bum, bum. Matthew comments on English subtitles for La Casa de las Flores. This is beautiful. Absolutely. And yes, Netflix is investing in subtitling some of this Spanish speaking series. And by the way, this is a fabulous way to learn the language. Let's see. Logan says, loved elite, excellent crash course on slang and lots of taco de ojo. If Logan says there was sexy taco de ojo there, I am watching. I love it. Walking Wednesday. Yeah, that was a good pun. Walking Wednesday. Oh yes, we read about that. We don't get involved in U.S. politics, but yes, we did catch that headline somewhere. The shade of it all. Last but not least, I want to tell you, as long as we're talking about movies and subtitling and so forth and so on, I want to tell you about a film called Closure. And this film is now available on Amazon Prime. And I bring it up because the screenplay, well, the film stars my niece, Katia Ojeda, the daughter of my brother Gabriel, who is an actress that lives in the United States. Her husband, my nephew, wrote the screenplay. And now that the film has reached Amazon Prime in Latin America, they have reached out to me to see what we can do. What I mean by we is Luna and I, of course, to help them create more buzz for this. And even volunteered to do some kind of panel discussion or a Zoom call with the director and the actors and the screenplay writer and so forth and so on. And I am looking at what kind of options I can offer them as far as the contacts that I may or may not have with film distributors in Mexico and people that know about film. I'm still learning all the details about what their expectations are, but, you know, she's my niece and it's easy access. So if you guys wanted to, for me to bring in Katia, my niece, the actor, into the show and talk a little bit about this film, or we could go out and watch the film on our own and then talk about it. I am all open to ideas. Needless to say, I'm sure they would like to have some exposure beyond what we do here at Coffee and Headlines. But it's the family. So we got to see if we can help. Feel free to share comments about this with me either privately or here on the chat. I'll make sure to read all of them. Let me see. This is a long one from Gary. I greatly appreciate the walking tours. I found that many of my friends that live there do not venture too far from the neighborhoods. This is true. I explained where and why I want to. I'm excited to go. They're not very helpful. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I think. Thank you very much, Gary. That's a beautiful shout out. I think we're all guilty of staying in our comfort zone. I am guilty as charged. And what I try to do with the walking tours is the fact that they hopefully they connect you with other parts of the city. But needless to say, I also want to be connected with parts of the city that I'm not very familiar with. And I love seeing Candace here in the show. Hello, Candace, because Candace is one of those ambassadors here in town that has been great. In the couple of times that I've gone walking with her or in conversation, she's one of those people that will help you understand where things are, and is inspiring to help us get out of our comfort zone, and that's what we try to do. So I am grateful for being a conduit for anyone to go beyond your comfort zone. And excuse me, I must also confess, yesterday or 2 days ago, I made a comment about Marina Vallarta. And yes, I don't like Marina Vallarta. I don't like it because I worked in Marina Vallarta for over 10 years. So I associate Marina Vallarta with work. So I don't find myself too drawn to Marina Vallarta because of that. And also because it is a well-known residential neighborhood that is discussed quite frequently and openly in social media, in other websites, et cetera, et cetera. I personally find it more interesting to go walking places that are not so tourist informed, that are not so popular among the tourism community, because ultimately we are a bunch of locals that are trying to discover more of the local life. But you let me know where you stand on that. If you want to go to the very popular places, we can certainly do that. In terms of walking tours that I am envisioning in the near future, in case you're curious, I was really taken by somebody's suggestion to go walking by the cemetery, and that's easy because it's right next door to the Mercado del Mar, where they sell seafood. So that's 2 walks in one, or I would do 2 separate walks. Somebody had suggested some time ago to do a walk from Los Muertos Beach to Conchas Chinas Beach, and I am itching to do that because now the beaches have reopened. And we barely touched Cinco de Diciembre, and Cinco de Diciembre is another fabulous up-and-coming neighborhood. Well, up-and-coming to some. It's always been there. So any ideas that you may have, and of course there's the Aramara Market. The Aramara Market is delicious because there's all kinds of chingaderas there, and we are going to continue exploring those. And I will continue getting your suggestions, and we'll be having a wonderful time. Let me take a quick look on the latest comments. Boom, thank you for your feedback on my niece Katia. Thank you very much. I will definitely pass that on. And again, it would be fun if we all watched the film in advance so that we knew what to look for. The movie is called Closure, and they tell me that it is now on Prime. I couldn't tell you if it's on Prime Canada because I'm not on Prime Canada. Lisa, I am in Mexico. But I would imagine it is available through Amazon in Canada. It's just a matter of getting into the website and looking for it. Let's see. Walking in the Vallarta Gardens was great. Matthew, I think I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. And I think I know what the community is going to get you for Christmas. Imagine if we exchange Christmas presents among ourselves. And yes, Paco said Closure. That's the name of the film. Boom, pa 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 pa. You took the words right out of my mouth, Sean. And I have a similar feeling whenever I have to go to Nuevo Vallarta. Nothing against Nuevo Vallarta, but every time I go to Nuevo Vallarta, yes, there are real neighborhoods in Mexican cities that look like Nuevo Vallarta. Yes, it's not like all of Mexico lives in brick houses or anything. There's all kinds of residential neighborhoods in throughout the country, from very sophisticated ones to some very flimsy ones. But my I don't gravitate either to neighborhoods that look too much like they belong somewhere else. Um, let's see. Some gallery tours would be good. This is also on my mind, especially now that I've decided that from now on, all the walking tours are going to include my snapshot camera. So, yes, I see myself walking into galleries and just focusing on certain pieces that call my attention. So, consider that uh, a walk. Uh, Bronica suggests a walk to Contestinas. I think that's an interesting suggestion because Contestinas is not necessarily a walkable neighborhood because it's all uphill. That said, there's the beach area, the lower side of Contestinas, that can be accessed by walking. And in fact, a lot of people walk to Contestinas to get to the beach over there. So, yeah, we'll definitely do that. Another suggestion for cemetery walk, absolutely. We saw the U.S. Coast Guard ship entering the harbor. Anyone know if this is routine? I know that they come in here quite on a regular basis, Diane, and a lot of times they come in here to replenish supplies and whatnot and the other. But I also know that the U.S. Coast Guard has ties with the local chapter of the U.S. Navy League, and a lot of times when they are here, for whatever reason, they volunteer to help nonprofit organizations in town, or the local chapter of the brain fart. The local chapter of the Coast Guard, or the Navy League rather, they coordinate for them to help paint houses and do good things. So, but we don't know. We don't know exactly what are they doing. How about a walking tour of Vallarta Botanical Gardens? Ay, ay, ay. Maybe, maybe. It is a beautiful attraction. It is a great place. I personally have issues with the Vallarta Botanical Gardens that are not relevant to this broadcast. And I also, issues aside, feel that the Vallarta Botanical Gardens gets a fair amount of promotion on its own. So they probably don't need any more awareness than we can offer. Uh, do I golf? I golfed as a kid because my father forced me to golf, and because my father wanted me to golf, that was reason enough for me to not want to golf. Me being the little young homosexual outcast from the family, so everything that my father said that I should do, I didn't want to do it. He wanted me to learn sailing because my father was a sailor. I said no. I don't want to be on your boat. I'd rather be scuba diving. So every time he would take us sailing on the ocean, in the ocean, I would say, well, this is lovely, but I got to go. And I would put on my tanks and I would go down. I would be away from him as much as possible. So no, I don't golf, but I appreciate people that golf. That's quite lovely. Let's see. Love the snapshot camera feature that you're using. You know, Betsy, I love it too. I am having so much fun because it's also nurturing me as a photographer more than it was. If you look on YouTube for POV walking tours or POV photograph, POV stands for point of view, and there are a number of photographers out there that are walking their cities either with a camera strapped here to depict the video and a camera in front to take the photographs, or doing it like I'm doing, in which I'm mounting my regular camera with my 360-degree camera on top of it. So this is a fabulous way to show other people places and so forth. I'm happy to be the only person in Puerto Vallarta that seems to be doing it, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else came and did it. It's an easy, not complicated way to do it, but I'm enjoying it very much, and I'm glad that you are too. Paula asks, do you know if there's an architectural tour in PV? Yes and no. I don't think there is a strict architectural tour that is one that would explain the origin of Puerto Vallarta typical architecture. That would be such a wonderful endeavor if somebody wanted to undertake it. What I do know is that there have been in the past these home tours, Vallarta home tours, in which you are invited to step into a handful of beautiful homes around the bay, and the proceeds go to charity. That said, I don't know if this is something that is being presently done. I haven't seen any headlines to that effect, but that has happened in the past. And a walk in Paso Ancho would be interesting. Um, I've walked, we walked past Paso Ancho on our way to El Moro Paraíso. But yeah, Paso Ancho is a neighborhood of its own. I also want to go from Gringo Gulch to El Caloso and come back through Emiliano Zapata. So all these things are things that I'm definitely considering. And I think this pretty much wraps it up for today. I am so very grateful to hear your comments and suggestions because this helps me to pinpoint the kind of content that you wish to enjoy here. And I am seeing a couple of comments to the effect that the home tours are currently suspended due to the pandemic, but hopefully they will be resumed at some point. So this was it. This was our fun get together for today. I hope you had a good time as always. Stay kind, stay comfy, stay warm or stay cool, depending on where you are. Stay positive and stay connected and stay in touch. And hopefully we'll get together sometime soon. Luna, do you want to say goodbye? Her butt wants to say goodbye. Come on, girl. A little bit of. There you go. So here we are. Until next time, have a super day, and I will see you again soon.